Hey everyone, Chris and Paul back with Insight Sessions. And today this is a question that we get a lot as a marketing agency. And I know there's a few other agency owners and businesses inside, particularly the Shopify group and the other Facebook groups that we run. And this is a question that we get all the time around search engine optimization and SEO. And it's the classic question of how long does SEO actually take? And this is an important question because particularly in our industry, we see a lot of cowboys out there that will promise results that I guess people like us that have been around for a while and actually understand what this stuff requires. We understand that it does actually take more time than the guy that's promising you the first page of Google in 3 weeks. So there's a lot of people out there that will give you big promises about, will rank you on the first page of Google in the next 30 days. And yes, sometimes they do that, but there's a lot of reasons why and how they'll do that that's not going to be beneficial to your business. So that's what we're going to get in today, because it's a question we get a lot, and hopefully we can answer some of the ideas around how long does it plausibly actually take in reality to get good results, good traffic boosts from SEO. Paul, I'll hand over to you to kind of dig into this a bit and give us set the scene on how SEO works and what sort of time it does actually take.
Yeah, sure, cool. Thanks, Chris. So as you mentioned, so many people in our Facebook group, I reckon the question gets asked like 97 times a day. It's like, I've got a new e-commerce store, I've got a new business site, and I engaged an agency like 3 days ago, and I'm not first in Google yet. It's like, all right, cool. So So there's a few things right now with SEO for any site. There is a few factors that will help you rank quicker and faster. That is, if your domain name is actually quite old, so a year, 2, 3, 4, 10 years old, that's a bit of a very good ranking factor. So if you've got a site like that, you can start to rank pretty quickly, like 4 to 6 months, which is like why we have contracts that are like minimum 4 to 12 months, because it's going to actually take about that kind of time to see some momentum get happening. Now, you get the momentum from multiple reasons. A lot of SEOs might not necessarily agree with the way I like to do this, but it's worked very well for me for like 25 years. It's worked well for us for like hundreds of clients. And for me, one of the biggest factors with getting your site to rank faster is literally the amount of like really unique content that's going into the website. So just as an example, at a minimum, we try to put like between 4 to 10 blogs into our client's website every month. These blogs are kind of like 800 words roughly. They can be a bit less, can be a bit more. A bit more is a bit wordy. And then so you're putting those as blogs. You're putting new services pages. Sometimes if they're not long, like some services pages can just be stupidly long. Like I spoke to a client recently, and some other agencies like, you need to put 1,000 words on your services page. I'm like, mate, no one's going to read 1,000 words on a services page. You can have a bit up there and a bit more and a bit hidden down the bottom, but Google's onto that. The sweet spot's like a couple of hundred words kind of thing. But the reason I say that is because from all the experience that I've got and all the tests and stuff I've done over the years, that is possibly one of the most important ranking factors on a site. Then in addition to that, you've got things like the site speed, which is always up and down. A site will just turn something off and your site will go slow. But when you're constantly doing these the correct things again and again and again, and you're adding the articles and you're adding products and you're getting more people coming to your site and your traffic is growing organically every month. And, I'm not massively on backlinks. They are important, but I don't think they're as important as a lot of the SEO agencies are out there that are trying to charge you like 15 grand a month just so they can buy a billion shitty backlinks to your site. Those things kind of help a little bit as well. But, you can get one good site from a partner, which is better than 300 shitty backlinks as well. But again, this all takes time. So it stacks and it compounds. And, even things like you're constantly pumping, like we do a lot of organic Facebook posts for our clients. So we're putting a social citation from their Facebook page back to the site. So a lot of people, again, probably won't agree with me that that's not necessarily the best thing to do, but we know that it works, and our clients' rankings go up and up and up. And again, it's a slow burn. You know what I mean? If you're putting 2 or 3 posts a week on their Facebook and a couple of blogs a week on their website, and you're doing on-page optimization and kind of fixing those errors one after the other and improving things one after the other. This is not like a 2-3 months process. This is like 4-6 month process, and then 12 months even. And then after that, it's an ongoing process. If you want to keep going higher and higher, you never stop. You never stop putting like more content in the site. You never stop doing better optimization. You never stop improving your usability, and the user experience of the site. They all go hand in hand, and all of that is why it takes so long. Whereas a lot of agencies will come along and they will do nothing to your site. They'll just drop shitty backlinks for months and months and months. They'll charge you $2-3 grand a month or something like that, and I go, yeah, we built like 10 links to your site this month and your traffic improved by 0.003%, and then customers are like, it doesn't really seem like much is happening, because again, even when they're doing that, okay, sure, your traffic might be going up, organic traffic, but it could just be total rubbish traffic, because whereas what we're doing, we're putting an article on the site that a user is actually going to want to read, so like we've got a client, for example, that sells, like coffee machines, so we're like coffee machine reviews, you have to get that content onto the site. And then next month you'll do a coffee machine review for a Chris McLean coffee machine or a Paul Warren coffee machine, and all that stuff takes time, to actually build. Whereas like what you said, just with a lot of normal agencies, they don't do that. They just drop links. They automate the whole process. And then 12 months later, you're sitting there and you're like, all right, I've got all this traffic coming to my website and it looks like it's growing month on month, but where's the customers? It's nothing happening. So,
and then the other side is the keywords, right? A lot of agencies, one way that they'll kind of hack it is to say, yeah, we'll get you on the first page of Google, but they'll rank you for some absurd long tail keyword that has zero traffic and isn't actually generating any business or visitors to you, but they've ticked the box of first page of Google for a listing, right? So saying like coffee machines, if they could rank you for coffee machines on the first page of Google, they're never going to do that in 30 days. If they could do that in 30 days, that would be amazing. But it's more going to be, like you said, the brand new Chris McLean espresso for people that like pigs in clothes in Warrandyte, and they'll rank you for that keyword, right? Which there's no traffic for, but you appear for it because no one else is bidding on it. So that's kind of an underhanded way that some other types of some less diligent agencies, let's say, can use that as a tactic to get you ranking and sort of tick off that guarantee to win your business. But it's not actually going to be doing anything for your website, and it's certainly not going to be driving traffic and growing your business because no one's searching for that keyword. So that's an important thing, as you're saying, when we're building out pages and content and blogging, it's for keywords that have actually keyword, like people actually searching for those things.
Got volume, both. Yeah, exactly. Like, like you said, like, I learned a phrase a long time ago called a work creation task. And a lot of employees do work creation tasks. They will go to work and they will do a whole bunch of nothing for 8 hours a day, and somehow they get paid and they keep their job for 25 years. Whereas actually doing something that's going to have an impact, and SEO people are the same thing, right? So they're like, hey, we send you a report every month and we get you ranking for the shitty keywords that Chris said, like, unicorn colored coffee machines, blah, 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 blah. And you're off there telling your mates, like, I rank first for unicorn colored coffee machines and blah, 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 blah. And like, my SEO company's cheap and they talk to me a lot. And they send me a report and like, but you get any sales? I'm like, no, not really. So that's the real big differentiator. It's like, is what's being done for you making your phone ring, getting your orders, and obviously, like we're speaking about in this episode, you've got to go, well, it's going to take time. So like you mentioned, if you were to rank for coffee machines, that's going to take like probably 2 years to get up to the top, but once you get there, if you're first for coffee machines in Melbourne and you're selling like $5,000 coffee machines, and you might have spent 100 grand to get there. Like realistically, let's be honest here. You might spend 100 grand, 200 grand to get there. But once you get there after 2 years, if you're selling like 100 of these, like, $5,000 coffee machines a month, it's worth it. So, again, that's why it's like, you need patience. Like if you're You know, we had a chat today with a client that's an accountant. You know, I'm like, he's like, I need to see results in 4 months. I'm like, mate, inside of 4 months, you'll be like on the edge of somewhere, you know, but, you know, 6 months, 12 months, we get you to ranking high, you know, and if you're onboarding clients that you might spend like 30, 40, whatever you end up spending with us. But if you're landing like, you know, $3,000 or $4,000 a month new retainer clients, for example, and they're paying you that per month, they're paying you that for the whole year, like pretty quickly, like, you know, you're in a really good position as well. But again, you know, the more competitive the industry, the more competitive the keyword, the more high value the ticket that you're going to get. It's, you know, it's going to take time to get there. It's certainly not I'll commit to 3 months and then that's it. If it's not working, I'll give up. You know, it's the same with an employee. You hire an employee, it probably takes you a couple of months to get them up to speed. You know, 6 months, they kind of start hitting their straps. 12 months, as long as they're not, you know, something wrong with them, then they actually profit revenue, you know, generating machine for your business as well. So you need to think, you know, SEO is exactly the same thing. It becomes an asset that makes you a lot more than you've paid for it, you know, same as an employee, ideally. So not sure that I hope that, does that make sense?
Yeah, we were talking about a similar concept on the last episode, right? Consistency over time and sort of looking at things from a long game perspective. It's like starting a business. Like successful business people don't start a business and go, right, I'm going to build and crush this business in the next 3 months and sell it for $20 million in 3 months. That's it. They're like, okay, how does this look at 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years? When you've got that perspective, a few months here and there makes less difference when you're committed over time like that. So I think the thing that's interesting, because a lot of business owners can think that way, but then they can have completely different expectations when it comes to marketing. So they either don't understand or they haven't had it explained in a way that, you know, this is what's actually happening and this is why it can take that amount of time. Yeah, so hopefully this has kind of cleared it up for some people as to why, if you are talking to an agency and they say, yeah, look, it's going to take 6 to 12 months, that's a proper expectation. If people are telling you it's going to take 3 weeks, 1 month, 40 days, 90 days, you might want to look into that and kind of try and understand some of the tactics that they're using.
Yeah, so there's probably 2 other things that I'd like to add to that is make sure you're comparing like as well, right? So if you go to Upwork and you try and find some guys, and no disrespect to some guys in India or Bangladesh or Pakistan that are going to do your SEO for $3 an hour, you know, and their English is bad and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, sure, they might give you 100 hours a month, but they'll never get you ranking. But you work with an Australian agency who might charge you 100, 150, whatever, you know, so if you're paying them like the way we do retainers, for example, it's like minimum is like, you know, $1,000 for AdWords, $1,000 for SEO, $1,000 for content. You're literally going to get like 10 hours for that as well. So you need to consider this. If you're like, I want to be first for, you know, accounting Melbourne, you know, how much SEO is really going to happen in 10 hours worth of work? You know, that's a day kind of work, you know, like we have clients paying SEO services, but they're paying like, you know, 5-10 grand a month kind of thing. Cause they're like, it's a big keyword. We need to be ranking high for it. You know, we know that it takes time. We know that not much is going to happen for like, you know, 10 hours as well. So, that's,
and you've got a bit stronger on it as well, right? You've got to pay more money for that keyword.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know, you need better writers, you need better SEO people, you need better on-page optimization people, you need a better strategy, you know. So you get, you know, again, there's lots of options out there. You know, we kind of work with people where we're like, we'll give you 3 different services and we'll you know, move through each of them according to a budget. But obviously, if you really want to do it, you know, spending a couple of grand a month, like, it's not going to do it, you know, unless you're like in your own lane and you've got no competitors and you just need to rank first. So just something that can keep in mind as well. So, but like to wrap this episode up though, pretty much I can't think of any business, right, that, or very few business other than maybe a sex type business, because that industry is like destroyed, it's flooded. Every business should do SEO, you know, like every business should pretty much do AdWords, as long as you can profitably acquire customers after like 6 or 12 months. So you can then make your money for the next, like, you know, 5 years in your business or whatever, then it's not an optional thing. You have to do it basically.
Yeah. Good advice. And I think we talked on a previous episode about that kind of that service stacking as well, and making sure you've got some stuff that's going to create short-term gains like Google Ads. You put an ad up, you can get traffic quickly. In terms of traffic sources, right? Having multiple traffic sources that you can kind of phase out. So you're not just doing SEO and waiting 12 months to make some money. You've got some other strategies that are generating leads and generating sales along the way. So that's, if you can, we'll on YouTube, we'll link that up in the video here, but on other platforms, go check out that episode. That'll give you an idea of, you might listen to this thing, well, I don't have 6 months to wait to make money. There's other ways to do it. Just make sure that you're working with someone that can give you that kind of service stack, I guess, and give you that short-term wins as well as have that long-term plan.
Yeah, exactly. No, awesome. Cool. I think we covered a lot there. So, thanks for listening, guys. Again, keep an eye out check out the if you haven't watched the previous episode, check that out. Keep an eye out for the next one. And we'll see you next week. If you've got any questions, you know where we are.
See you then. Like, comment, share, all that good stuff, and we'll catch you on the next one. See you guys.
Bye.